Look under my keyboard. I'm sorry. You are all I worry about, love. These aren't quotes from a movie script. They're real, allegedly. Words pulled from a private message thread between Tyler Robinson and his romantic partner. Words that, if true, might change everything we think we know about what happened that night. Because while the world was racing to convict Tyler in the court of public opinion, his partner, the one person who saw all the messages, who lived with him, who knew the pain behind his silence, was sitting in front of prosecutors and saying something they never expected. Tyler didn't do this, you're all wrong. But why? Why would someone so close to the accused, someone who received the infamous confession, risk everything to claim his innocence? Did they see something the rest of us missed? Or are they protecting a lie they helped build? We're left with 1,000 questions. What did the partner really say in that off-the-record session with prosecutors? Was there a second note? One we haven't seen? Could the keyboard message be a decoy, a setup, a distraction? And if Tyler Robinson didn't pull the trigger, who did? Because here's what we do know. A rifle was found, with Tyler's DNA on it. A towel, wrapped around it, bore traces linked to their apartment. Bullet casings etched with meme speak and bizarre phrases like, "Catch this fascist," and a thread of text messages urging deletion, silence, and secrecy. But hidden in that digital trail is a heartbeat. And that heartbeat belongs to someone who still whispers, "He's not who they say he is. He didn't do this." They got it wrong. This case isn't just about motive or murder, it's about belief, and the possibility that love might be protecting a dangerous truth, or exposing a devastating lie. If you're curious how private words can upend a public case, stay with me. But first, like, subscribe, and drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from. And hey, if you don't hit subscribe now, how will you know when the next piece of evidence breaks? Because trust me, it will. Before the sirens, before the lockdown, before the internet turned his name into a headline, there was just Tyler. And if you ask the one person who knew him best, the one he lived with, shared secrets with, loved, they'll tell you, he wasn't that guy. Not at first. Not really. Tyler Robinson was a 22-year-old from Utah, raised Mormon, clean-cut, polite, practically invisible in a crowd. The kind of person who'd hold the door, apologize when someone bumped him, and keep his earbuds in on the bus. He was sharp, academically gifted, made the honor roll, crushed standardized tests, started at Utah State but left, not for lack of brains, but because he said the lectures felt empty. He wanted something real, something useful. That's why he moved south, to St. George, for an electrical apprenticeship. Hands-on work, quiet life, pay your rent, keep your head down. He never talked politics back then, wasn't registered to either party, didn't vote. He used to say, "They all lie anyway." But something changed. The person who knew him best says it started slow. Little arguments at dinner with his dad. Frustration bubbling under the surface when certain names came up on the news. And then came the break. He started standing up more, not just to his family, to everyone. He didn't want to be invisible anymore. That's what his partner remembers. A young man finally stepping into his own beliefs. He became more vocal, more frustrated with the things he couldn't change, especially the way people like Charlie Kirk talked about people like them. Tyler's relationship with his father soured. Those quiet family dinners turned into ideological battlegrounds over gender, politics, power. He told me he was tired of pretending. He didn't want to be someone else's version of good. But then came something his partner never expected. The rifle? Not just any rifle, but a family heirloom, passed down from his grandfather. Old, oiled, well-kept. To his family, it was legacy. To Tyler, it was weight. He told me he hated it, said it stood for everything he was trying to leave behind. And yet, he kept it. Why? Because maybe it was a symbol of rebellion, of protection, of finally being able to say, "This is mine now." But that's where the contradictions start. To the outside world, Tyler looked like the classic quiet kid, hardworking, reserved, not a threat. But his partner saw both sides. The one who stitched memes into bullets. The one who wrote cryptic notes, then claimed they were just jokes. The one who spoke about peace but spiraled into something darker when no one was looking. He changed, slowly, like he was drifting somewhere I couldn't follow. That's what they told prosecutors. And still, through it all, they believe he didn't mean to go through with it. They say the bullets? Just scribbles. The note? Just bluster. The anger? Real. But the intent? Never solid. In the messages, the conflict is clear. I planned this for over a week. Some hate can't be negotiated out. I need to get the gun back. I'm scared what my dad will think. A man torn between righteousness and ruin, between a world he was rejecting and a world that had already rejected him. And his partner, caught in the middle, watching the person they loved slip further away. He was hurting, but he wasn't a monster. That's not who he was when I met him. So the question becomes, who do we listen to? The headlines, the evidence, or the one voice still defending the boy behind the weapon? Because in the end, maybe Tyler Robinson isn't just a suspect. Maybe he's also a symbol of what happens when silence festers, when pressure builds, and when a person is told too many times to be someone they're not. Evidence doesn't lie, but sometimes it only tells part of the truth. And the difference between guilt and innocence might depend on what you choose to see or ignore. Because in the case against Tyler Robinson, the evidence is damning, undeniable even. But it's not simple. And if his partner is right, if Tyler is innocent, then every piece of that puzzle must be re-examined. Let's look closer. Investigators found the weapon less than 200 feet from the auditorium, partially buried under foliage, wrapped tightly in a blue towel. It was a bolt-action .30-06 rifle, powerful, precise, deadly. Tyler Robinson's DNA was everywhere. On the trigger, on the towel, on both spent and unspent cartridges. Not just touch DNA, deep skin, oil transfer, as if he had gripped the weapon with bare hands recently, in a high adrenaline moment. And then, the shell casings, each one engraved, with phrases that baffled investigators and fueled media hysteria. Notices bulge owo. What's this? Hey fascist, catch! Oh bella chow, bella chow, bella chow, chow, chow. If you read this, you are gay lamau. Insults, jokes, a manifesto, or was this his twisted way of signaling something deeper? Prosecutors argued it showed a mind obsessed with memes, violence, and political provocation. But his partner told a different story. Those bullets, he doodled on them for fun. He said he'd never use them. It was just edgy humor. He did it to piss off his dad. Again, truth or denial. Perhaps the most devastating find wasn't outside, but inside the apartment Tyler shared with his partner. Underneath his computer keyboard, a torn piece of lined paper folded 3 times. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. It wasn't typed. It was handwritten, in ink that matched pens in Tyler's backpack, and in handwriting matched to school notebooks from years prior. His partner claims they never saw the note and believe it was planted. But the paper is dated, the fingerprints align, the ink hasn't been smudged. So why deny it? Then there are the text messages to his partner, late at night, whispering digital secrets. I've planned this for a bit over a week. Some hate can't be negotiated out. I'm not sorry, I had enough. But then a strange twist. I'm worried what my old man would do. How will I explain losing it? Losing what? The weapon, his mind, his future? The contradiction haunts every sentence. A man seemingly prepared, but also spiraling. Tyler's phone became a roadmap of his thinking and his fear. Texts show attempts to double back to the rifle site hours after the shooting. He tracked police patterns, texting, "Did they sweep the hill yet?" And perhaps most damningly, he instructed his partner, "Delete this exchange. Don't talk to media. Ask for a lawyer if questioned." That's not panic, that's strategy. Investigators also combed through online chat groups, Discord channels, Twitter alt accounts, looking for signs of ideology, extremism, or radicalization. And while some rhetoric was found, nothing conclusively showed premeditation. But again, his partner claims these messages were manipulated. He was scared, not guilty. He said he didn't go through with it. A distinction prosecutors aren't buying, but what if they're wrong? Here's what ties it all together. The rifle was found, his DNA, his towel, his bullets. The messages show a man planning, then regretting. The note under the keyboard acts as both confession and contradiction. And his partner, possibly the only true witness to his state of mind, sits in the middle, torn. Torn between memory and loyalty, between what they read and what they believe. And in that tension, the entire case teeters. If you're still watching but haven't shared this, why not? Someone in your circle will see this case on another channel, filtered, politicized, or twisted. Share the version that doesn't forget the nuance, because truth doesn't scream, it whispers. September 10th, 2025. Utah Valley University. A warm, cloudless evening. Inside the auditorium, a full house. Hundreds gathered, cameras rolling. At the center of it all, Charlie Kirk, conservative commentator, mid-speech, mid-sentence, mid-moment. Then, a single cracking shot. The bullet hit its mark. Kirk collapsed. Screams followed. Panic surged through the crowd like an electrical current. Chaos in seconds. Confusion in milliseconds. The shooter? Gone. Prosecutors would later allege that Tyler Robinson, 22, was positioned on a rooftop nearby. He waited. He aimed. He fired. And then he vanished. But here's where the speculation grows teeth. Because while the world saw a cold-blooded sniper, his partner saw something else. They claimed, behind closed doors, he wasn't there. He told me he wasn't going to do it. A direct contradiction to everything prosecutors were building. So, who do we believe? Within minutes of the gunshot, the university went into lockdown. Police and tactical teams swept the campus. Witnesses gave conflicting reports. One person saw a figure on the roof, another heard someone sprinting through the trees. Surveillance cameras turned back the clock, trying to piece together movements. But the shooter had hours of lead time. By the time the building was surrounded, they were long gone. For 30 hours, Tyler Robinson was nowhere to be found. But his phone, still on, and the texts, still pouring in. I'm scared. Do they know it was me? I have to get it back before they do. It, of course, being the rifle, later found in the bushes nearby, wrapped in a towel, DNA intact, with casings that would stir a national firestorm. But here's the whisper we keep coming back to. His partner claims they were told the rifle was just a scare, just a stunt, just a bluff. He told me it wasn't loaded. He said he couldn't go through with it. So now we ask again, did Tyler truly fire that shot, or was he framed by his own paranoia? By sunrise, the media had a name. Tyler Robinson, the woke assassin. Hashtags exploded. Darn Kirk shooter, political violence, that execution style. News anchors made assumptions. Commentators made judgments. YouTube channels like this one tried to make sense of the noise. Utah prosecutors didn't wait long. They stepped up to the podium and said clearly, "We will seek the death penalty." But inside the court records, a twist. Court documents revealed messages, handwritten notes, engraved bullets, and one person tied to it all who said, "You've got it wrong, he didn't do this." Tyler's partner, now identified by media outlets, a transgender roommate and romantic partner, found themselves at the epicenter. Not a witness, not an accomplice, but something murkier, maybe even the only person who truly knows the truth. Did they protect him, or did they try to warn prosecutors that the state was about to convict the wrong man? Because the note under the keyboard, the one that prosecutors say is a confession, his partner insists it was planted after the fact. And those bullet inscriptions? They were memes, the partner said. He scribbled that stuff for laughs months ago. So who's lying? And more importantly, who stands to benefit if Tyler takes the fall? If you're not sharing this video yet, now's the time. Because if you don't, someone else will. With a version of the story shaped by rumor, not truth. Don't let speculation win. Share the facts before the noise buries them. What could drive someone from quiet resolve into something irrevocable? Ideological, political. In messages, Tyler wrote, "I had enough of his hatred." He spoke of hate, not just abstract, but aimed, personal. To his lover, that wasn't just about anger. It was about fear. Fear that when people hate you, that fear becomes explosive. Symbolic, personal. Charlie Kirk is known for anti-trans rhetoric. Tyler's partner is trans. So when Tyler raged or scribbled on bullets, the partner saw more than protest. They saw a personal response. It was more than political. It was identity under fire. Relational and familial. The heirloom rifle carried weight, a legacy. Pressure from a conservative father, the duty of family versus the pull of selfhood. Tyler's partner believes much of his anger came from trying to be the son his father wanted, while also trying to be the partner he truly was. Psychological, emotional, isolation. The echo chambers of online groups, memes turned into mantras. When your voice is muted or your existence denied, anger can become focus, sometimes too much focus. His partner says Tyler felt trapped between who he had to be and who he was breaking toward. Even with all this, there are holes, big ones. We don't know for certain that Tyler acted alone. Were there others helping, encouraging, or pushing him? The timeline around the rifle, the inscription of bullets, planning, beyond a bit over a week, is vague. Did Tyler have more time? Did he prepare far earlier than texts admit? Were there external voices, online personal contacts stoking his anger, ideological forums, radical influencers? Crucially, did the partner wait too long to speak up because of fear, love, coercion, emotional conflict? If so, how much did that silence allow the prosecutorial narrative to lock in? If the partner had come forward immediately, after reading that note under the keyboard, would Tyler even be accused now? What if there are unseen accomplices or ideological radicalizers or outside influences that investigators haven't uncovered yet? Could metadata, phone GPS, ISP logs, surveillance tapes shift everything again? Could that one dataset exonerate him or condemn him further? When the world heard Tyler Robinson, they heard a headline: political violence, assassin, hatred. But to his partner, the public saw a man painted in broad strokes. Not a person with doubts, with promises, with loyalty. Media outlets split in two camps. Those calling it a cold ideological attack. Those suggesting a tortured soul, a radicalization gone wrong, maybe even a miscarriage of justice. Some questioned authenticity of his texts, claims that lines were doctored. His lover felt enraged at that, because to them, every message, every note was real. Conservative commentators warned that this was proof of mounting political violence. Progressive voices pointed out mental health, radicalization online, transphobia, family conflict. All of it mixing into a storm. One, political polarization, how disagreement becomes dehumanization. 2, internet culture, memes that mock, slogans that divide, digital rhetoric that bleeds into real life. 3, mental health. Young people pushed to edges by identity conflict, family expectations, social marginalization. 4, speech versus violence. When does a message become a threat? When does satire become weapon? And who decides? 5, silence versus complicity. When those closest know things and yet stay quiet, whether out of fear or love or confusion. The uproar is loud. Many demand swift justice. Someone must be held responsible. Others warn, what if justice rushes past truth? What if the wrong man is convicted, built on leaks and tweets? Advocates call for transparency from law enforcement. Others insist the partner's identity and privacy must be protected. Their cooperation is delicate, their voice vulnerable. Every leak, every social media post, every new transcript magnifies consequences. Not just for Tyler, but for his lover, family, community. There is multi-layered evidence: forensic, rifle, DNA, textual, notes, inscriptions, digital, texts, instructions, symbolic, family heirloom, ideological conflict. Yet, Tyler's partner remains convinced of his innocence, believing the messages and evidence are misunderstood, manipulated, or missing context. Motives are tangled: ideological, personal, relational, psychological. We may never isolate one clean motive. Several key truths remain unproven: co-conspirators, timing of planning, external influence, immediate confession. What if the very confessions that prosecutors rely on are incomplete? What if the partner's claims of innocence are not protective lies, but truthful resistances against a narrative that already decided Tyler's guilt? In a case so built on private words, texts, notes, confessions, what if the truth is hidden in what wasn't said, in what was deleted, in what was kept from public view? If this story unsettles you, share it. Because more documents, more testimony may emerge, and you deserve to hear them. Comment below. Do you believe Tyler Robinson acted alone? Do you think his partner is protecting him? Or are they protecting a truth the courts haven't seen? Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Because if you don't stay tuned, you might miss the twist that turns everything on its head. Though the evidence is heavy, though the conclusion seems obvious to many, this case is far from closed. Every transcript yet to be released, every witness yet to be cross-examined, Every bit of digital metadata still under legal seal. Stay with me, because this story is still being written. And in its final chapter, we may discover Tyler Robinson wasn't guilty, or we may discover something even more terrifying.